Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew, and what I have for you today is tactical fishing kit as part of our survival loadout, and be able to go after fish at the water's edge, as well as a lot of different amphibians and animals that might be down there next to the water source. Now, fish are going to be the first things we go for. That's why they say fish first, because fish aren't going to go anywhere. They're going to stay in that water source, but it gives us opportunities to go after not only the fish that's in there, but also other game around the area. So I'm moving to my fishing spot down this trail, and once I get there, we'll link up and I'll talk to you and show you the loadout. Stand by. We made it around. I had a lot of ideas this weekend for different skills, but I usually think of skills, have ideas, get really excited about them at the beginning of the week, and then end up coming up with more ideas toward the end of the week. And so I couldn't really decide, but I wanted to change the format up just a little bit, because you guys don't see a lot of my face or me talking directly to you unless it's in narration. So we're gonna change it up. Now we got to get across this stuff. You can see the open water right out there, but I think we can jump across these rocks fairly well while I'm holding you and I'm holding my fishing rod. Let's give it a shot here. Perfect. Lots and lots of thorns there. Oh yeah, water's super high. Little tick right there. And just flick them off. Shot of my nether regions there. Sorry about that. We definitely needed this, that's for sure. Come out here and relax next to the water and fish. Went ahead and changed the setup, took off the treble hook, and just put on just the normal J hook, bait holder. We're gonna slap on a worm, and then we're gonna try to go for some fish. Man, he's right down there. I better get some bait on here quick. I knew that largemouth was around here. He's hanging out in the shallows. Just hanging right, can't believe it, he's hanging right there. Right there. I've almost got my kids to the point where they can put worms on a hook. Ooh, we got a fighter. Fish are gonna love this guy. We got our little worm on. Now we're ready to fish. Okay, good. He's still there. Two of them. Two largemouth right there. You guys can see that, all the little ones just hanging out right near my bobber. Hopefully that brings back the big ones. Oops, something just took my... This guy just took it, that's what I was afraid of. Oof, he ate it. Damn. Knock it off. Get my little pliers out here. Oh, he's not having a good time. That's why we need those little pliers. We got some big fish just jumping right out here. We're going to transition over to a jig and see if they take it. Ooh, That's something. Another crappie. Oh yeah, look at that guy. Second crappie here. Nice. There we go. Pretty good one. It's about 5 or 6 fish right now. Oh, got something. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good sized crappie. That could be dinner. That's why you always have jigs and jig heads as lures in your survival kit. Right here, getting bigger fish like that. Let's go ahead and put him back. And he's gone. Ooh, I got him right there. Right on the side. There's another one right there. All right, buddy. Bye. Before we go any further, and I keep losing all my jig heads in the drink over here on logs, or the fish rip them off. Let's go over this fishing kit. We're going to talk about the items inside and kind of why we picked them. If you're a fan of the channel, you recognize this container. I'm getting to be a fan of plastic containers because we can spray paint them, get this beautiful camouflage, and then use them out in the field. They're durable. They don't make that metallic sound that we would have if we had a metal kit. And with the clamps on the 2 sides and the front here, this is a very secure kit, so if we drop it, it's not going to bust open. We can find it, pick it up, put it back in our ruck or in our pocket. But we can carry a good fishing kit just in this container. All right, so let's pop it open. Now, there's a lot of junk inside, but this is going to cover a lot of the bases. In order for us to have a decent fishing kit, we want to carry just the basics, and a lot of these things we can actually replicate off the landscape. But first, what you're going to notice is just a commando wire saw. That wire saw so that we can harvest material off the landscape. We can harvest things like a section of material like this wood to make an improvised hobo reel. We can also take down material, and then using our combat knife, we can actually carve things like a net needle and gauge to make nets. And I've got the gauge right here on this set, making a small net right here, so you guys can see. This is going to be for a future video. Next, right on top, this is just a frog gig, a small one. We can recreate this off the landscape as well. One of the survival courses I went to, we actually frog hunted, was with an improvised frog gig made off the landscape. That's how we provided food for ourselves. But we can carry the spear, and then all we have to do after that is harvest the spear shaft, attach this, and now we have our frog gig. Next, just a series of hooks. And here we have J hooks, different sizes, as well as some treble hooks. Next we have bobbers. These are just normal foam bobbers with a weight on the end. Spray painted these camouflage so they're less visible. That way we can cast from the shore, remain in a concealed position. And this bobber is out there, we can observe it. It can't be seen from a long ways off like a bright colored bobber can. So we have these camouflage bobbers to help conceal ourselves a little bit better and avoid detection if we're at the shoreline going after fish. Next, just 2 different type of wire leaders. These leaders have their swivels on them, and then the pins for attachment. One is 18 inches, one is 12 inches. We can use these to go after game that may actually bite and break our fishing line, or we can use them for improvised snares as well. Fishing spring hooks here, and what these are, I consider these traps because we can set it in the water and then it will set the hook for us once the fish takes the bait. And these things simply bend down. There's a nice little pin right here, and so it looks like this in the water. And then once the fish takes the line, which is going through this spring hole right here, it'll set off the trap and it'll actually expand and set the hook rapidly and keep the fish for it. Speaking of another trap, we just have the Cat-O-Matic spray painted again, so we can actually hang this up. We don't normally want to leave traps hanging out by the shoreline because it's more likely to be encountered by someone, but if we have a trap like this that's spray painted, and we can place it in a position that's overhanging water where somebody's not really going to notice it, we can place it, conceal it, and then attempt to go for fish this way as well. Next, just a small bag of sinkers or split shot, as well as swivels. And you'll notice the sinkers are actually camouflaged. These are sinkers that I picked up in the fly fishing shop, and they came camouflaged, which makes it great. Although it's going to be underwater, nobody's going to see it, but having it as part of our kit, if we happen to drop it, hopefully somebody will not notice it if we leave it behind accidentally. Next, the spool of line. This is 8-pound test line, and this spool is just small enough to fit in here, but it's just large enough to have a lot of line on it. This is approximately 150 yards of line. I'm a big fan of having fishing line like this in our kit because we can use it with our net needle engaged to craft a small net or a gill net that we can put in the water, but then we have multiple different uses for this besides just fishing. We can use it for clothing repair, for camouflage enhancement with vegetation, among other things. So having a lot of fishing line is something I'm a fan of. Plus these large spools are black and go with the kit for aesthetics. Good to have. Next, about 15 to 20 feet of type 1 paracord. Big fan of type 1 paracord, highly recommended because we can use it for a variety of things. We can use it with just a simple leader that we have in our kit. Here we have a couple of leaders. So we can use these leaders with the guts from this paracord on our hobo reel if we're without a lot of line. A lot you can do with just paracord. Having cordage is great. Type 1 being very strong, about 100 pounds test, and then we can get that guts inside. And then leaders, like I said, leaders are gonna be good. We can use this, the leaders, with our actual 550 cord and create a trot line, attach our cord to a rock, stake it off to the bank, and then throw it in there once we have our leaders and bait hooked up, and we can go after game with that. That's one of my favorite traps. Going after fish is just a simple trot line that we can cast in the water. It works for us. It's a passive trap, so we can set it, forget it, come back later and get our fish. Next, we need just a small multi-tool. This is the Leatherman Squirt. It's been discontinued, but there are a lot of different smaller multi-tools out there that are good for us to use. This one is going to be the best, in my opinion, because it's got a blade, it's got a small file, so we can sharpen our hooks. It's got the scissors, which come in handy for cutting a line, and then a can opener, bottle opener, and a pick, screwdrivers, and those pliers inside are going to be great for getting hooks out of fish's mouth like I just did a minute ago, which is why there's blood all over this bag. Next we have jigs. As you can see, I've only got one jig head left in here with the actual bobber with the spinner tail here. The rest of them have been lost in the drink today. Since I've been using this kit, I've got one on the line right now. Hopefully we'll be able to get one of those large fish that have been swimming around. But carry a lot of these, a lot of different bodies, a lot of different styles, different size jig heads. These are great. The fish have been biting on this all day over the worm that we've been using earlier. Next we have just a gill net needle. We can craft a gill net needle off the landscape, but if we can carry one with us, and this one's been spray painted camo, we can take it with us, keep it in here, and then when the time comes, if we're going to set a gill net or use a small net or need to make something, we have plenty of line, and then we have the needle already made. So all we have to do after that is craft the actual gauge, and we can start making nets. It's a longer, tedious process until you get the hang of it, but having one pre-made already will save us time in the end. And then lastly, we have just a surgical razor blade. This is just another way to cut line or process game. We can use this razor blade for a lot of different things, but it's a good to have, and there's plenty of room in this kit to actually squeeze another razor blade in there. You guys just saw that largemouth just swimming right on by, not a care in the world, right past my bait. I've got worms on the hook out here and my rod's just hanging there. Keeps going under this log. But to get back to our survival fishing kit, I think that a survival fishing kit needs to have the basics. We have to have hooks, lines, sinkers, bobbers, jig heads, lures, all that good stuff. And I bought, here he goes again. And I bought some survival fishing kits recently, and a few I just haven't been happy with. And a lot of things we can craft off the landscape if we know what we're doing, or if we bring the minimal material like that frog gig spearhead, we can get a shaft off the landscape. We can cut and fashion a hobo reel. We can make a gill net needle engage. We can get a cane pole. We can use our cordage and our leaders with those hooks on there if that's all we have, to make a trout line to go under the water, to make a passive trap to get some fish. And with our survival fishing kit, the strategy should be, yes, going after big fish and keeping those fish, but if we get those those small fish first off our lures, we can use those small fish, put it on our hook or get a larger hook, put it back out in the water and attempt to go after these big guys that are just swimming around here looking for those small fish to eat. Alright guys, we're back on the road. Really hope you enjoyed that video. Down and dirty survival fishing kit. And you guys got to tag along with me today, doing a little bit of fishing in my secret spot. So if you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.